Today we are going to talk about Kyler Murray's health and Tua Tagovailoa's health and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today we are going to talk about the health of the quarterbacks ahead of the 2018 Orange Bowl, starting with the man, the Heisman winner, Kyler Murray, who did not make media availability at the Orange Bowl today. Now, they say that he's sick, and far be it from me to say that a man who says he's ill is not ill. However, we know that this was a thing for Baker Mayfield last year, and he showed up because he's Baker Mayfield. He just wasn't going to make his teammates answer for him. But the sick thing just seems convenient, right? I mean, if he's sick, he's sick. But Cale Gundy also said that it was news to him that he wasn't going to make availability and that he practiced the day before. They said he might practice today, he might not. Look, man, we all know that the things that he were going to be asked about were all pertaining to his professional future. We know that he's going to have to make a decision between going into the NFL draft and going to play baseball. Now, he says, I'm going to go show up to the A's spring training in February, right? We know that today, we know that he's going to play baseball. We also know that if he said that he's going to play football and focus on football, everybody with a mock draft that matters says he's a first-round draft pick, especially with the news that Oregon quarterback Justin Herbert is going to return for his senior season. So the number of quarterbacks dwindled by one, and the number of quarterbacks that were going to go in the first round dwindled by one. So now you get to raise the price and raise the draft status on Kyler Murray ahead of the biggest game of his season. We all know the tools, man. We all know that Kyler Murray is a surgeon back there. We all know that he will pick you apart to give him time. Perhaps Alabama's going to try to drop 7 and make him throw the football, for which they're like, okay, fine. He completes 70% of his passes. He's got the highest passer efficiency rating in college football history. There's nothing you can do to stop Kyler Murray from being Kyler Murray. You can only hope to contain him. Now, would you want to truck Kyler Murray out there today in front of all of the cameras, all of the national media, all of the local media, who have things that they want to talk to this man about, since finding out, yeah, you put your name forward to the NFL for an early draft evaluation? You also want to know, yo, is this real for me? And we all know that it's real for him. We all think it's real for him. We all know that NFL scouts thought that it was real for him because NFL scouts were told by the Oklahoma football staff that, yo, we think that he's going to play football as a pro. So that's how they filled out their draft evaluations. Now, I remember there was an instance kind of like this at the Cotton Bowl in 2012 when I covered it. And at the time, the Heisman Trophy winner was Johnny Manziel. And Kevin Sumlin had a rule for Texas A&M that no freshmen were allowed to talk to the media. They have a similar rule at Oklahoma right now, right? You haven't done anything. And throughout even the season, you really haven't done anything. But at these bowl games, they have to make you available. That's a rule. So Johnny Manziel was the it dude at the Cotton Bowl. Everybody wanted a quote from that guy because he wasn't talking to anybody, and he just won the Heisman Trophy, which makes him the most valuable player in college football for all intents and purposes that year. We also know that Oklahoma has had its share of run-ins at bowl games with players that are in the news that they don't want to speak. Joe Mixon, a few years back, hadn't said a word, right? Helped Oklahoma get to a bowl game, showed up, didn't say a word. He said, we're not going to take any questions about his incident with a woman that he punched in the face at a restaurant in Norman, and it was very uncomfortable to watch. It was very uncomfortable to hear just how that went. It was very uncomfortable, I'm sure, for the SID and for Oklahoma, because this is not the kind of thing that you want to have to answer for. You want to be able to talk about football. You want to be able to talk about the game. You want to be able to talk about how you match up. But you're not able to do that when you are the news. Joe Mixon was the news. Johnny Football was the news. Kyler Murray is the news. So I think it's kind of just a newfangled way that you could say is convenient, and perhaps he is ill, and for all intents and purposes, he probably something, right? Because he might have flu-like symptoms. We don't really know. We just know that he was ill enough to not show up to media availability at a time when a lot of people want to talk to that dude about what he's going to do with his future. On the other hand, Tua Tagovailoa apparently is 80 to 85% ready to go and healthy. He had what he needed to get done with his ankle, and he plans to be the dude that basically would have won the Heisman had Kyler Murray not been Kyler Murray this year. He is the person that drives that offense forward. But it ain't just him. It's also Damian Harris. It's also Najee Harris. It's also Josh Jacobs. It's also the Biletnikoff winner, whether we like it or not, Jerry Jeudy. And then there's Henry Ruggs. And then there's Jalen Waddle. And that offensive line has a bit of a hole, I guess you could say, in that the guy that they want to start ain't going to start, but the guy who's backing him up was starting. So we'll take that as it is with Lester Cotton starting for Deontay Brown, and we'll see, right? But for all intents and purposes that we know, man, I'm saying all intents and purposes a lot today, Tua Tagovailoa is the guy. He's going to start. I know some people think that Jalen Hurts is going to be pulled out of the back pocket of a guy like Nick Saban. It's not out of the question. If you're Oklahoma, you plan for him. But more than that, you're really just planning to try to stop this offense if you can. You're trying to get in their way if you're the defense, right? And if you get a game out of this defense, Oklahoma wins the game. We all know that Oklahoma ranks 108th in total defense. It is the worst defense to make it into a college football playoff, yada, yada, yada. You get a couple turnovers out of this defense, you could win this football game. Now, to Oklahoma and injuries, again, Trey Sermon says that he is 100% for the first time since suffering a high ankle sprain against TCU. That's back in October. And he would aggravate it, and then he'd go down, he'd aggravate it, and come back. We like to have Trey Sermon healthy. And these high ankle sprains, as you can see, they're nothing to play with, right? You want these guys to stay off of them. You want them to feel okay. You also want them to play, because even at 70%, Trey Sermon is still a really good running back, and you're thin at running back if you're Oklahoma. You need that man healthy. So to know that he's healthy and to know that he and Kennedy Brooks are going to share the load is a big deal for Oklahoma, who is going to try to run the ball against this really good Alabama defense that has maybe 3 first-rounders on it right now. Deontay Thompson at safety, Quinn Miller, the dude at defensive tackle, and then you got guys in the middle who can absolutely fly to the football. Last note was, depending on who you talk to, Marquise Hollywood Brown is going to play. He's not going to play. I think he's going to play. I've said that I think he's going to play. Brandon Drum was on the podcast with me on Young and Drum, said, it's touch and go. We don't really know. And if he does play, is he going to be 100%? We don't really know. We won't know until we get to the game. But I continue to say there's another 1,000-yard receiver on this team in CeeDee Lamb. And guys like Grant Calcaterra are going to play. Guys like Lee Morris are going to play. And Charleston Rambo has acquitted himself well at that Z receiver position. So I don't think it is the big deal that a lot of folks are making it out to be. I understand the man has 75 catches for over 1,300 yards and 10 TDs. I also know that this is Oklahoma, and what they do on offense in particular is reload. And, again, ill Kyler Murray is still really good Kyler Murray. And there's no, I don't necessarily think he's going to be ill when they play this game on Saturday, because today is Wednesday. But, as I've said before, and I will continue to say, we have Kyler Murray, and you don't. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.